Hi guys, it's me, Matthew. Right, okay, so I thought I'd talk about something that might be considered a fad. But first of all, Eid Mubarak to all of those celebrating. And, indulge yourself, make yourself feel good, spend nice time with your family. I know that's what it's all about. But I wanted to talk about fads. And the way I see a fad is something good will come along, but usually that fad, that new thing, requires discipline to maintain. So most of us aren't disciplined and don't have any self-discipline, maybe me as well, I don't know. But that fad drops off, and because we can't maintain it, and then it becomes a fad. So it's just another fad. And today, the fad that I'm talking about, which I don't believe is a fad at all, is meditating. Now, if you meditate, I'd like to know how and what and where and why and all that lot. So put it in comments. Hello, Patrick. Hey up, Stan. Hello, Marie. But if you don't, then maybe you need to pay attention to this, because I've been meditating probably for about 2.5 years now, and it's really helped me a lot. But before I go into all the where and how and why and all this lot, kind of understand why it's important, right? So evolution has been going on forever. Evolution's been going on forever, right? So we're all animals. We've all been evolving throughout in the entire history of the universe, or the entire history of the planet. And if you just take, for instance, if you look at a wolf, right? A wolf will howl at the moon. If a wolf could speak, you couldn't convince a wolf that it's not connected to the moon. The wolf fully thinks that it's connected to the moon. Most animals feel like they're connected in one way or another to the earth. There's some kind of connection. I don't know whether it's real or not. It's not like Avatar where there's this magical connection, or maybe there is. Maybe you believe there is, but I think that all animals have some kind of connection to the earth, and the more you learn about it, the more it makes sense. And just like something I learned the other day, the way that forests work, right? So you've got the tall trees that get all the sunlight and rain in the summer, and they absorb all the sunlight in the summer, and the evergreen ones are lower and they get nothing, so they don't get any nutrients in the summer. But then when those trees, shed the leaves, and now all the light comes through in the winter, the evergreens get all the nutrients, and the ones without the leaves suffer, right? So what these trees do is they pass chemicals to each other underground, and it's like some kind of photosynthesis kind of thing. It's weird, but it's really interesting. And the point I'm making is, everything is a bit more connected than we realise, right? And with where humans come into it, our brain, it's not evolved like if you got a piece of plasticine and it's shaped like a ball, but then you mould it into a shape of a square. That's changing the shape of what it is. Our brain has just developed layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. So it started out as like a lizard brain. If you believe in evolution, which I do, it started out like a lizard brain, or probably like a fish at first, and eventually a lizard, and slowly, as we become more aware and more intelligent, another layer gets added, another layer gets added, and eventually we've got this brain now, our human brain. which is what we primarily use. So, because about 500 years ago, because of science mainly, but science and capitalism really started together around the same time, 500 or 600 years ago. And the way that the nature of capitalism, it's all about speed. It's all about getting things now, making things faster, better, more efficient. And I think that humanity, us as people, we've kind of just totally just followed that slipstream, and everything is about now, faster, better, stronger. You know what I'm talking about. And that's the way that the human mind has started to go in that direction. And we'll start to develop another layer and another layer, and it'll keep evolving and evolving. But what we've started to do is we've started to exclusively just use the human part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, I think it's called. It's interesting to learn. It's all these terms and conditions about terms and terminologies about our brain. It's interesting to learn, because when you start to understand how your brain works, you start to understand yourself a bit better, and you start to understand other people a bit better, and it all becomes much more clearer to you why people are the way they are. But because we're using the prefrontal cortex mainly, we kind of neglect the rest of our brain, the bit that we've evolved past, but we still have that part in his brain. For example, the lizard brain. Has somebody ever phone called you when you know you were just about to have a difficult conversation, or when you were a kid at school and you were just being caught slamming off school, and school tried ringing you, the phone rang, your heart jumps into your mouth. Now it all happens in a split second. That's your lizard brain working. Our human brain takes a lot longer to calculate and work things out, whereas our more animalistic brain will just react instantly. And then you've got your monkey brain, which is a little bit more primal, a little bit more tribal, a little bit more emotional, and all this stuff. So we've started to neglect the other parts of our brain because we're just constantly using the top part, the outside part. And that's where meditation comes in, because meditation allows us to reconnect with the rest of our brain. You might meditate, you might pray, you might sit in quiet contemplation, you might just lie there in bed for 20 minutes in the morning, not talking to anyone. Whichever it is, meditation, the way I call it, is a way of reconnecting with the rest of our brain and really understanding who we are. And what I would liken it to is, if you were driving a car, let's just say, has got 5 gears, and the 5th gear is probably the biggest gear of all, and it's you're going to get the most action out of the 5th gear. But what we're doing is, in 2019, we're driving with the car in 1st gear constantly. So it's eventually going to knock it up, and this is why we start to feel anxiety. Our heads start to feel blagged. It's not like we're physically doing that much, but a lot of people are suffering from depression, stress and anxiety. Like I said, I reckon at least half of the people I know have suffered from stress and anxiety or depression at one point or another in their life since I've known them, and I probably guess that they've suffered more than that, more than 50%. And as we move into the future, we're going to get marketed at even more. Our smartphones know even more about us than what we do. TV advertising, there's going to be all different kinds of ways for companies to get into our brains. So it's important that we start to understand how we think, and how you think and how I think, and start to take control of your own brain. So do I think that meditation is a fad? It's a fad if you want to start and then put it down after 3 weeks because you can't be bothered carrying it on. But if your mind is one part of your body and your body's the other part of your body, then it makes sense to take equal care of both of them. So just like if you want to look healthy and look good and feel good, you go to the gym and train consistently. I think meditation consistently will make your mind more healthy too. So how do you start, right? So the way I started is a friend of mine called Billy Bingham, he probably won't watch this, but Billy said to me, look, I've been meditating for a while, it really helps me. Just go on YouTube, type in guided meditation and off you go. So I started to do that about 2.5 years ago, and it started to work all right. Now, I'm the kind of guy that's got a really, really active and busy brain. So somebody might say, oh, I've tried meditation, it's really, I can't do it. I'm not the kind of person who can meditate. I'm thinking about all this different stuff. My head's too busy. Firstly, that's fine, because I'm like that too. And it's not about controlling that part of your brain. It's about observing it. But secondly, if you're a big, fat, slobbery, unhealthy person, then don't you think that you're not the kind of person who can train? You need to train. That's a reason to train. So if you've got a very busy and active mind, then you need to meditate. It's a way of controlling and learning and observing your own thoughts. So what I would recommend is go on YouTube, guided meditation. There's an app called Headspace that I use. It's brilliant. It talks you through it slowly, slow time, and just start to make it a daily habit. And after 3 weeks, the habit becomes normal, and I promise you, the level of sort of perspective you have on yourself and sort of the understanding you have towards other people will change your life. And all you have to do, really, just a really simple way to meditate. I'll give you an example right now. So you just close your eyes and just concentrate on your breath. In, out, and just concentrate in and out. Even count 1, 2, 3, and just focus on nothing else other than your breath. And if your mind wanders, that's fine. If you start thinking of all kind of weird and wonderful things, that's fine. Just understand that you've changed your thinking, and now you need to go back to your breath. Change your thinking, go back to your breath. Tony, I don't think people even realise that what they have is depression and anxiety. I didn't at the time, but looking back, I can pinpoint times where I was definitely struggling with anxiety. Meditation is key to understanding yourself. Absolutely, 100%. And I don't think that most people know when they're suffering from stress and anxiety, and they don't want to admit it either. But just the nature of our society now, with marketing, social media, keeping up with the Joneses, all these things that you feel like you should be doing but you're not. The truth is, you shouldn't be doing any of them. What you should be doing is just focusing on you, your health, and the people around you, and that's it. So, it's about being aware and starting these little daily habits that really help you and then start to help others around you. So, cheers for watching, guys. If it's a fad, it's because people aren't had the discipline to carry it on. But meditation is definitely something that will help you first and foremost, and then you can start to help other people. So hit me back just to chat. Truly yours, your biggest fan, NLF. This is Spreth.